Curry. Other half, Larry Bird. When it comes to motion, when it comes to moving the needle, we all know one that does that in women's sports, and that is Caitlin Clark. She continues to set ridiculous numbers all over the...
In an incident that quickly went viral in the sports world, NBA star Luka Doncic grabbed headlines for reasons more than simply his skill on the court. During a playful interview, Luka was asked a direct question. What is your favorite female basketball player? His response:
Who's your favorite women's basketball player? Caitlin Clark. You don't like Paige Bueckers? Quote, shrugs. She's okay. Haven't seen her play in the WNBA. So
not only is it eradicating Caitlin Clark, it's eradicating Serena Sundell. Like, if you look at Paige Bueckers' seasons, or if you look at last season, Serena Sundell averaged 0.4 assists more than Georgia Amore, but nearly 3 assists more than Paige Bueckers.
Caitlin Clark, without hesitation. But the remedy wasn't the only thing that sparked the internet. It was the disdainful shrug that followed the mention of Paige Bueckers. Luka's answer: she is doing okay.
I thought Paige Bueckers was a star. I thought Paige Bueckers was the secondary great white hope. It didn't matter who Caitlin Clark was playing, and the game would be headline news. That is what's missing in women's college basketball this season.
If you look at all these seasons, first season Paige was 15. The second season Paige played, Caitlin Clark led the NCAA in assists with 8 assists per game. Paige did not play 22-23, and in 23-24, Caitlin Clark is 2.1 entire assists ahead of Georgia Amore, who she said led NCAA in.
Then a smile appeared. The drama began with that. This was more than just a comment. The Dallas Wings had just chosen Bueckers with the first overall selection in Dallas, where Luka used to play. The basic idea is that Luka isn't ashamed to say that he doesn't believe the nonsense that surrounds Bueckers. As social media exploded, fans swiftly picked sides. Nevertheless, Luka made his.
The one thing when you talk about last season is that Paige won't have the benefit that Caitlin did. And this is nothing against Caitlin, but we had an Olympic break last year. So you got to see some players take a month-long break, essentially. And those rookies were coming off a grueling season in the collegiate game. They got a break and got to reset and finish strong. This draft class, which includes Paige, is not going to have that luxury. We don't have a big break where they can almost catch a second win and then push to the finish line in the second half of the season, he continued. So we have to watch this rookie class around the league about load management. It's not just our rookies. We're all going to be tuned in to load management, especially these rookies that played long into their collegiate season.
On Monday, the league announced that 4 preseason games will run on national television. The first time in league history that multiple exhibition games will air nationally. Indiana Fever's exhibition against the Brazilian national team on May 4th would air on ESPN. Caitlin Clark of Boston, the rest of the Fever, will also be on national television on May.
Sticks out. Caitlin Clark is a real person. The fact that Steph Curry is in favor of it just fuels the fire. When asked about Clark's shooting, Steph clarified that her release time is about the same as mine. For the greatest shooter in NBA history to say that about a rookie is significant.
Been very complimentary in the past about Caitlin Clark. She's on verge of breaking the scoring record. I mean, do you see any comparisons in the way that she shoots to people compared to the way you two shoot? Do you see anything?
I saw somebody break down the release time, which is pretty much identical to mine. And then her just confidence. You can't help but watch when she plays, where she's shooting from, range, the confidence, the flair. Like, she's a performer. It's crazy though, just because her shot is.
The second chapter of the Caitlin Clark era in the WNBA will commence soon. Clark established herself as a superstar in her rookie season with the Indiana Fever and will now lead a championship hopeful team into year 2. However, before the season begins, Clark was involved in a major news headline that featured a 6-figure price tag. Clark's edition of the 2024 Piani Prism WNBA Throwback Signatures Golden Vinyl Card has been officially.
He complimented her confidence, range, and floor vision while calling Clark the whole time. Bueckers' WNBA debut hasn't generated as much excitement as Clark's, who continues to break records, sell trading cards for more than $244,000, and fill venues. For her next preseason game in Dallas, not even every seat is booked. That's the issue: media hype versus reality.
The hate in Natalie Esquire heart is so strong. LOL. She said this in 4 different ways for absolutely no reason. NBC at Indiana Fever. We don't want her covering America's team. Natalie Esquire said only one is super problematic. Emo in my experience and based on listening to what has been said and reported on all year. It's a common theme. I only get harassed to endure racism, receive threatening emails, DMs from one fan base. So yes, it's one. It can apply in all of sports, but there is a notable difference in one fan base with respect to the W. This too, we say, no, it's one. It's not allegedly. This is my experience, and it only comes from a specific set of fans. So yes, for me, it's one fan base. You've already heard a player say in her career she's never experienced anything like this. Stop trying to violate our spirit.
The dispute is becoming hotter. On paper, Bueckers had a successful time in college. But Clark, she changed the game. While playing for Iowa, she averaged 28.4 points, 7.1 rebounds, and 8.2 assists, which immediately garnered her attention in the WNBA. Bueckers hasn't had anything.
Don't you realize these black girls all paved the road that she's traveling, that these black women built the WNBA, these black women carried women's basketball, and now all racists love women's basketball because they're racist and they have Caitlin Clark. Just not true.
Quote, perhaps it's because, unlike Clark, Bueckers has always been outspoken about issues off the court, Thomas wrote in a Guardian article. At the 2021 ESPYs, Bueckers was named the College Athlete of the Year. She used her acceptance speech celebrate and honor black women in particular. In Bueckers' famous ESPY speech, she used her platform to recognize those who didn't get the same recognition as her, specifically highlighting black women. While black America cheered Bueckers, it seemed like mainstream white America, a demographic once viewed her as, in her words, a media darling, weren't singling out her praises. Is it a coincidence, or maybe because her injuries have made people forget her greatness as an athlete? But she's back from injury, and now why are people focus on Bueckers as they were Clark last year when she was tearing up college basketball? Maybe if Bueckers had delivered a more vanilla ESPY speech, things would be...
The dispute is becoming hotter. On paper, Bueckers had a successful time in college. But Clark, she changed the game. While playing for Iowa, she averaged 28.4 points, 7.1 rebounds, and 8.2 assists, which immediately garnered her attention in the WNBA. Bueckers hasn't had anything.